Ryan Last had a promising future. He was a bright 17-year-old, a Boy Scout, and a straight-A student. Just weeks away from graduating high school, he planned to attend Washington State University and major in agricultural biotechnology. But in the early morning of March 5th, 2022, just rooms away from his sleeping parents and younger brother, Ryan would take his own life. But why? Why would someone so young, with so much to live for, and seemingly happy, all of a sudden end it all? His family and the world were about to find out. The story of Ryan Last all started in February 2022 when he received a message from a girl on social media. After hours of talking, the girl seemed to be really into Ryan, and soon the conversation turned sexual. The teen then sent Ryan a sexy nude photo of herself and asked Ryan to send one of himself back to her. Ryan, who was really into this online flirtation, played along and sent back an intimate photo of himself. That's when things stopped being playful. The person on the other end of the chat suddenly demanded $5,000 or else they would share Ryan's personal photo across social media to his friends and to his family. Ryan, now feeling terrified and ashamed, replied back that he didn't have $5,000 and the price was ultimately lowered to an amount he could afford, $150. So Ryan paid the person $150 thinking that was the end of it. But it wasn't. Over the following days, the scammer continued pressuring him, sending threats and demanding that Ryan pay more money. In the end, the pressure of being blackmailed over these explicit photos was too much for Ryan to cope with. After all, he wasn't able to turn to his friends or family for help out of pure shame. His mom remembers saying goodnight to her son at 10 p.m. on March 4th and everything appeared to be normal. But by 2 a.m., he had taken his life, leaving behind a suicide note. In the note, he expressed his embarrassment over everything that had happened and apologized for not being smarter. Ryan was a victim of sextortion, which is a crime that occurs when someone threatens to distribute your private or sensitive material if you don't comply with their demands. Most of the time for scammers, that demand is money. Predators will lurk online, posing as children or teenagers to gain the trust of their victims and coax them into sharing sexual content that they'll then use to extort money from them. According to the Department of Justice, in 2022, over 3,000 minors were targets of sextortion, some as young as 10 years old. Ryan's parents regret not knowing more about sextortion prior to their son's death and actively spoke out afterwards to warn other parents, urging them to talk with their teens and let them know that if they ever find themselves in that situation, they can always turn to them for help. In December 2022, 10 months after Ryan's death, police arrested a man they believed was behind the chat, which led to his suicide. 25-year-old Jonathan Cassie was taken into custody from a Los Angeles neighborhood and charged with extortion and attempted disorderly conduct. According to police, Cassie was working as part of a West African blackmailing ring. He would go onto social media platforms pretending to be a girl named Emily Smith and trick boys into sending sexually explicit photos and videos. As of now, Cassie's bail was set at $250,000 and he was ordered to give up his passport. The FBI warns, never send compromising photos of yourself to anyone, no matter who they are or who they say they are. If you do become a victim, don't be afraid to report it to the FBI or local police, either in person or online. Save all conversations and images related to the incident. It may be embarrassing, but they can be reviewed by law enforcement, which will hopefully help identify and lead to the arrest of the perpetrator. That's it for today's episode. If you find these scam videos interesting or helpful to you, be sure to subscribe and turn on all notifications so you can be alerted every time I post a new scam. Remember, hearing about it just may save you from falling for it. So until next time, keep your eyes open for scams.